Yo, what's up, Facebook? It's your boy back again on this beautiful Wednesday night here at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock uh, Eastern Time. Uh, you know, t- Today's, Wednesday is, always 8 o'clock here, same place to be. TitletownTV uh, presents Sports Talk with KC. I'm your boy, Karan Goodell, also known as KC. Um, Got a lot of sports news for you guys tonight. We'll be discussing Saturday night's victory, Bama's victory over New Mexico State, and also previewing next week's game against Arkansas, a big game we need to win to clinch the SEC West. So let's get into some New Mexico State and Bama. Bama defeated New Mexico State 59-3. Uh, Bryce Young had a great game. 21 for 23, 270 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was only sacked once. So O-line did their thing this weekend. Um, I can't really say I was impressed completely by him, but he definitely had a great game against lesser talent. That's why I said I'm not really impressed. But he continued to keep his name in the Heisman the Heisman voting. Definitely see him win the Heisman this season. For the most part, Bama has won every game except the one game against Texas A&M that we lost a few weeks ago, about a month ago. But yeah, man, all around great performance by him. I think it was like 80 something percent completion rate. Brian Robinson had a great game. Not only 9 carries, but he had 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. Trey Sanders got some play time. He had 12 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown of his own. Um, yeah, it was one of those games where we got to play some players that we normally don't play. Had a lot of injuries coming into this week. Um, Coming into this week, Drew Sanders still dealing with his shoulder injury. So Dallas Turner played a lot played a lot this weekend. Drew Sanders did play, but they both played a lot. Um, Also, who else we had get hurt this game? What's that guy name? Where's my notes? Get back into this shit. It's not that. But yeah, man. Just had a lot of injuries. Receiving wise, Jameson had another big game. He seems like the big play guy. 6 receptions for 158 yards, 3 touchdowns. His longest catch was for 54 yards, which, if I'm not mistaken, resulted in a touchdown. 26.3 yards per catch. Um, yeah, he's pretty much taking over that wide receiver one position for Alabama. He's definitely a big play threat down the field, super fast, super quick. His return ability as well. John Mechie had 6 receptions for uh, 48 yards. No touchdowns, but he's more the old school possession receiver. Um, gets a bunch of catches. Also, we got a couple touchdowns from our uh, tight end duo and Cameron Latu. He had one catch for a 12-yard touchdown, and also that boy Jay Billingsley had a catch, a 5-yard touchdown catch of his own. Those were on two catches for those tight ends, but they were both touchdowns. It helped us win the game as well. But yeah, this defense outside of meaning this game outside of what Bryce Young did, uh, Robinson did, and Jameson did, was definitely more of a defensive game. The defense held New Mexico State to just one field goal and no touchdowns, and they also had 7 sacks. 2 of those sacks coming from Heisman candidate Will Anderson Jr. As well as another young guy had 1 sack of his own, Dallas Turner, who has a second last 2 games. That edge duo it's scary. Dallas Turner is a true freshman, been playing a lot of recently. With Drew Sanders being out, Will Anderson Jr. Of course, he's the leader of the defense, star of the defense. Is having a great season as well. He's only a sophomore. So yeah, opposing offenses definitely have their hands full with those two in the next few seasons. I pose a question. Does Will Anderson have a legit shot at winning the Heisman this season? Tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Does Will Anderson have a legit shot at winning the Heisman this year? A defensive player has never won the Heisman. Some say, of course, Charles Wilson, but he played a lot of offense. He was Michigan's top receiver as well as their top DB, their return man. So the other ways he affected the game was the reason why he won the Heisman that year. I think it was 96 maybe. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, the first ever truly just strictly defense player winning the Heisman this year is a possibility this year. It's a possibility. Will Anderson for Alabama. Or is there another guy, if not him, could do it this season? Maybe a Tavon Thibodeau from Oregon, the top edge rusher in this year's draft class. Who else? George Kalafisky, I think. I can't remember how I messed the name all the way up. But yeah, the edge rushers from Purdue having a great season. Just helped Purdue knock off Michigan State. Yeah, tell me what y'all think about Will Anderson winning the Heisman in the comment section. I think he has a real shot at it. If he continues to put up great numbers, multiple sacks games, has he done pretty much every game this season. I think he's sitting at let's see how many stats. How many sacks he has on this season. Well, I'm looking this up. Comment your percentage of him winning the Heisman, Will Anderson, well as Bryce Young winning the Heisman. Is it his or is it someone else's? Kenneth Walker Jr. is having a great year. There's still a chance for Matt Corral, especially if Ole Miss winning the SEC. Just let me know in the comment box. Wins has 12 sacks in 10 games. If he continue that, against Arkansas and against Auburn, he definitely has a shot at winning the Heisman, in my opinion. The only reason why Bama has stayed competitive defensively. Really, the leader of the defense been very vocal this season. Yeah, man. Let's see. Oh, correction. Dallas Turner now has 3 sacks in the last couple of games. I was definitely wrong about that. Yeah, for our Dallas Turner, is he another guy that could possibly be one of those great Alabama pass rushers of the future? He still has 3 more seasons to play. Could he be the next Tim Williams? Derek Thomas for us. One of those guys like that. Future Will Anderson. I mean, still really really young. Has played exceptional in games he filled in uh, for Drew Sanders. Um, oh yeah, last week Brian Robinson plans came out and said he plans on playing in the Senior Bowl uh, this season. Um, I think he will get drafted. I'm hoping early. He has all the tools of a quality running back. In these 10 games, he has 164 carries, 823 yards, and 14 touchdowns, which is probably one of the top in the nation. I can definitely see him going in early rounds. Of course, we all hoping for a first round for him, which is not common in today's NFL. A running back going first round. So hopefully, in the second and third round, someone draft him. Yeah, it'd be great for the city of Tuscaloosa. He's a local kid. Played at Hillcrest High School. One of those inspirational guys around the city, like we have had, like Deontay Wilder and Tim Anderson and MLB and Major League Baseball, and the many players, athletes, actors that came through Tuscaloosa. Speaking of which, if you know anybody who's doing great things in the community, uh, have a great business, tell them to hit up Titletown TV. We would work with y'all on promoting your business, getting exposure for you guys through interviews, promos, commercials, ads, whatever you need us to do. We do that. Our motto is shining the spotlight on the true champions of the community. Tuscaloosa is more than just Deontay Wilder, Alabama football. I mean, of course, on my this channel, YouTube channel, and Facebook page, we talk a lot about sports, but there's other things in Tuscaloosa going on in just football and basketball, things of that nature. We have some great community leaders. We have some great people in the local, Congress, great businesses, local business, black businesses. You know, everybody's doing their thing in Tuscaloosa. I like the direction Tuscaloosa is going to. Of course, we need to get that violence down a lot. But yeah, we definitely have a great community. So if you want your business to be uh, promoted and get some more exposure, hit up Titletown TV. They got you. Um, Back to sports. Um, this weekend, in the next few days, Alabama is playing Arkansas, number 21 Arkansas, here in town, at home. Arkansas hasn't had the greatest season. They had some ups and downs. Started the season off real hot. They actually beat one of the teams we couldn't beat, Texas A&M, as well as last week they beat LSU 16-13. Um, hey, Coach O is not going out without a fight. He's going to win some games or he'll be out. But yeah, man, they started the season. Arkansas started the season off hot, winning their first 4 games. Like I said, upsetting Texas A&M, as well as knocking off Texas Longhorns. I mean, we beat them program, but they're also, historically, great, great program. We're still one of the top recruiters in the nation. But yeah, then they ran into Georgia, and then from that point on, they've kind of sucked down. They after that won a 3-game losing streak. Uh, Bounced back by beating the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions 45-3 a few weeks ago. Had a bye week to relax, prepare for Mississippi State, which proved to be vital. They won 31-28. And like I just mentioned last week, they beat LSU 16-13. And now this week has come. They're playing Alabama. Alabama has not clinched the West yet, but with this a win this weekend would clinch the SEC West for Alabama. Uh, for Alabama. My question to you guys are: can Arkansas keep up with Alabama's multi-dimensional offense? They can run the ball. I mean, they can throw the ball. They can run the ball. They have a quarterback who can run the ball. They have some good receivers. They have one of the top receivers in the nation, and Treylon Burks, who's looking like a first rounder. In 10 games, he has had 51 catches for 796 yards, 8 touchdowns, including a 91-yard touchdown catch, averaging 15.6 yards per catch. Yeah, man, seems like a real deal, man. Big kid. And there's a multitude of NFL teams that need receivers, number one receivers, on their team. The Browns, they just lost OBJ. The Packers are steady looking for number 2 to go along with Devontae Adams. The OBJ did not go to them. Patriots, one of the other guys who were in line for OBJ, needs another receiver. Kansas City is always looking to add to their receiving core. I know they just got Josh Gordon, but they were still in the hunt for OBJ somehow. But yeah, they obviously are still looking to upgrade the position. He definitely brings something. If Treylon was to fall to them, he would definitely bring something different to their offense. They do have Tyreek Hill, who's more of a smaller, speedster receiver, deep guy, but Treylon Burks could definitely be that big body, red zone threat, 100+ catch guy for them. So be on the lookout for him. But yeah, now like I mentioned, they have quarterback TJ Jefferson in 10 games. He has completed 147 passes completed 147 passes for 1,990 yards, 17 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. Dude's having a great season. His completion percentage is at 65 right now. Yeah, man, he's not the reason why not one of the reasons why they lost those games. Obviously, of course, they all could play better at their positions, but he has had a solid season. As I mentioned, he's a runner too. He has 107 attempts. He leads the team in the rushing attempts with 584 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. Just behind him, his running back Treylon Smith has 101 attempts for 532 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, they have a good offense as well, just like Alabama. If their defense can slow us down, they can get up a couple touchdowns and kind of just coast it. They definitely have a shot at keeping up with us. But if they're going back and forth, I don't think their offense can sustain the offense that Bama has. Brian Robinson Jr., as I mentioned earlier, is a beast. Will wear down their defense. Deep. They have Jamison Williams, big time deep threat. and John Mechie, can't leave him alone by himself as well. And Bryce Young can deliver the ball to them. Very, very accurate quarterback. Very, very accurate quarterback who can scramble. Has so much potential as a runner. Has added that game to his arsenal now. So yeah, I don't see Arkansas keeping up with Bama's offense. And which, to answer my own question, I do not think they will beat Bama and stop them from winning the SEC West. I think the SEC West is Bama's to win. Um, the SEC championship game is very, very, very messy situation because Georgia is the real deal, at least defensively. We haven't seen them be challenged offensively, really, against anyone like far as having a shootout. So I think Bama are better than offensively, but their defense is definitely top notch. Let's see. Um, enough about Alabama football. Let's get into some NFL. This past weekend, my Kansas City Chiefs bounced back and beat the Oakland Raiders, a team who has not had great luck recently with Henry Ruggs getting arrested and their coach being fired and other things going along in the organization. They have stayed afloat. They have won a few bunch of games this season that no one expected. Right now, they're 5-4 right now after the loss to Kansas City. But before then, they were doing pretty well. Pat Mahomes had a great game, as to be expected. 35 for 50, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns. I know that he's the franchise quarterback, and they gave him a buttload of money, but I'm not the type of guy to want to have a quarterback throw 50 times. That's a lot of times, especially for a score like what they had it as 41-14. That's a lot. But yeah, Travis Kelsey had another stellar game, 8 catches for 119 yards. Uh, they got some help at running back this weekend from Darrell Williams, who had 9 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown to go along with 11 carries, 43 yards. Tyreek Hill, Mr. Go Get It, Cheetah, whatever you want to call him, from UW. 7 catches for 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. The boy Pringle, Chip, 4 receptions for 46 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, that Kansas City defense finally stepped it up. Derek Carr had I wouldn't say a bad game by his standard, but it was pretty solid. 25 for 35. I mean, 25 of 35, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. Pretty solid game. But my problem with the performance this weekend, he was the leading rusher. Only 3 attempts for 18 yards. Josh Jacobs had 7 carries for 16 yards. Come on now, he's better than that. Gotta give him more than 7 carries. Uh, Kansas City defense was shutting down that whole backfield. Braylon Edwards, Jesus, had 3 receptions for 88 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Renfro, Clemson legend, had 7 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown. Deshaun Jackson, who made his Raiders debut after spending the other part of this season with the Rams, had a catch for 38 yards. 1 catch, 30 yards. That's what you. A couple of those 20, 30 plus yards can get Deshaun Jackson going, make him happy. Hopefully, he has found a home and with the Raiders. I know he was unhappy with the playing time and the catches he was getting and out there in LA. Which, speaking of which, Odell Beckham made his Ram debut after signing with them after clearing waivers from the Browns. It didn't go as planned for Odell Beckham or the Rams. He had the score was 31 to 10, 49ers. Matthew Stafford had 243 yards and a touchdown and throw 2 interceptions and was 26 of 41. Cooper Kupp had another exceptional game. 11 catches for 122 yards. No touchdowns, but he still had over 10 catches. He's my offensive player of the year. I wouldn't give him MVP because there's other guys that I would give MVP to, such as Kyler Murray and guys like that. Hey, you can give it to Derrick Henry. The Titans aren't the same without him, but yeah, I see a lot of blame for this weekend's game was being placed on Odell Beckham, and that Matthew Stafford feels pressured by having OBJ in the building on their team now. That he's feeling forced to throw him the ball, forced to be looking for him, whatever like that. OBJ only had 3 targets. How should Stafford feel pressured? I'm not surprised by that. They have other receivers. They had before last week. They had Robert Woods, a solid number 2 guy, who's really their number 1 until Cooper Kupp has stepped it up this season. He's always been a great receiver. He just took a bigger leap, leading the league in receiving this year. Van Joseph, a developmental receiver who's improving every season he's been there. These last couple of seasons he's been there. Late round pick out of Florida. He had 3 catches for 54 yards. Monday's night game was his time to shine and probably with a replacement. Odell Beckham, 2 catches for 18 yards. I mean, it's probably not a game he wanted, of course, you know what I'm saying, but they played bad offensively and defensively. They allowed 31 points. So that's not his fault, losing the game at all. You know what I'm saying? And Matthew Stafford shouldn't feel pressure to throw the ball at all. Whatever. We see who their receiver is, who their top receiver is. Cooper Kupp, 13 targets, 11 catches, over 100 yards receiving. Throw him the ball. And if he's not open, throw it to OBJ. Throw it to Van Joseph. Throw it to Tyler Higbee. But that's enough of that. 49ers. Let's talk about them. Jimmy Garoppolo, he had a solid game. 15 for 19. 182 yards, 2 touchdowns, only was sacked once. That's what you get from a 49ers. You know what I'm saying? 20, 25 throws for Jim Garoppolo running the ball. They had the running back Mitchell had 27 attempts for 91 yards. No touchdowns, but Debo contributed 1 touchdown late in the game. He had 5 carries for 36 yards in that touchdown I just mentioned. Debo Samuel also had 97 yards receiving and a touchdown. I don't know, fantasy players were so happy to start him this week. Hasn't had the greatest season that we all expected, but this game was coming out game for Debo Samuel, definitely. George Kittle is back. He's been back for a couple weeks now, but he had 5 catches, 50 yards, nothing major. I wish they got a little more out of Brandon Ayuk. Guy I was hoping to be a big play receiver in the NFL when they drafted him. Only had 3 catches for 26 yards. Let's see. The Jalen Hurts led Eagles beat the Denver Broncos, who's also one of the ACC, sorry, AFC West teams that were playing well outside of the Chiefs. Yeah, they beat them 30-13. Jalen Hurts was 16 between three, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, only one interception, and one sack. O-line played great. He played great. Tossing 2 touchdowns. Of course, don't want to see him throw an interception, but that Broncos defense he has some players in that secondary. They finally got some help from their run game. Jordan Howard had 18 carries for 183 yards, and this backup Brian Scott had 11 rushes for 81 yards. Jalen Hurts contributed 53 yards of his own on 14 attempts. Shout out to Jordan Howard, UAB alum. Yeah, great game this weekend. Devontae Smith had 2 touchdowns this weekend, 66 yards. Him and Jalen Hurts have had great chemistry over the season. Hope they keep continuing to add to that receiving core to help develop Jalen Hurts. He's proven when his run game is going and receivers are getting open and he can get them the ball. On the Broncos side of things, Teddy Bridgewater had 226 yards, no touchdown. He was only sacked once, but couldn't get it going. His best receiver was a tight end. He had 3 catches for 77 yards. The other tight end, Noah Fant, had 5 catches, 59 yards. It just wasn't a great game for them. Only had 1 touchdown, kicked a couple field goals. Cam Newton made his Carolina Panthers debut. They won the game 34-10, which Cam Newton contributed 2 touchdowns of his own, 1 passing and running. Glad to see him back in the league, back on the team, especially back in Carolina, a team that he led to the Super Bowl in his MVP season. That's their interim starter, PJ Walker. Didn't play bad. He did have 1 interception, but he was 22 for 29. Solid game, 167 yards. Christian McCaffrey had a great game, 13 rushes for 95 yards. Glad to see he back and looking healthy. Him and Cam can definitely do some daily things up there in Carolina. Whenever Sam Donald does get back, he has competition in the room now for real. All 3 guys, him, PJ, and Cam, would have to do it out for that starting position. Christian McCaffrey had another typical game from him. Had 10 receptions for 66 yards. He's doing it again, running the ball, receiving. The Cardinals aren't looking great without Kyler Murray. Last week they did win the game, but this week here, they lost. Colt McCoy had 11 completions for 170 yards, 3 interceptions, had 2 sacks, was relieved by his quarterback, Streeter, who also had 2 sacks, 6 of 9. Running back James Conner had a contributor touchdown, but only had 39 yards. Up until this game, the Cardinals have been playing pretty well. I know Kyler Murray has been hurt the last couple weeks, This was definitely a winnable game, even without him. Not sure was Cam being back the reason for that. Carolina definitely looked more amped, more enthused to play. We're glad to get the win for Cam. He wasn't the starter for the game, but he definitely showed out, and he's now getting first team reps. We'll see this weekend whether they do another 2 quarterback system or start one another. I'm hoping that uh, that they do give Cam a shot, but if PJ's continuing playing well, then keep playing PJ, man. XFL guy, guy who has waited his turn from college up until now. So we'll see what happens in Carolina. The Vikings got a hard fought win over the up and coming somebody say San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers. Kirk Cousins had one of his best games of the season. Completed 25 passes for 294 yards, 2 touchdowns. The boy Dalvin Cook showing why he's one of the best backs in the NFL with 94 yards and a touchdown of his own. Jordan Jefferson, not Jordan Jefferson, Jesus. LSU guys, man. Justin Jefferson had 9 receptions for 143 yards to go along with Allen Thielen 5 catches and 65 yards. Pretty solid game from both those guys. The Chargers lost by 7, 27-20 to the Vikings. Justin Herbert didn't have his greatest game. It was only 20 for 34, 195 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Didn't get much from the run game. Austin Eckler only had 11 carries, 44 yards. Keenan Allen had 8 receptions for 98 yards. Yeah, they were trying their best to come back, but it's never could, man. The Chargers got up on them early. The Buffalo Bills defeated the New York Jets. No one should be surprised, but 45-17. Josh Allen had another typical Josh Allen game. 21 completions for 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Was sacked twice, but still had a solid game. Stephon Diggs' his favorite target, 8 receptions with 13 targets, 162 yards, and a touchdown. Gabriel Davis, the receiver on the other side, had 3 receptions for 105 yards. Which was a coming out game for him. He's been pretty quiet. And man was saying number normally is their second best receiver. The GOAT, Mike White, had 24 completions for 251 yards and 4 interceptions. How about that? Mr. If I was number overall pick, what would you do again? Oh, okay, not beat the Bills. Got to beat the Bills. They're leading the division. Yeah, you got drafted, but you drafted there for a reason. Michael Carter, second round pick out of North Carolina. 6 carry. Sorry, it was not a second round pick. 4th round pick out of North Carolina. 6 rushes for 39 yards and a touchdown. Corey Davis had a good game. 5 receptions for 93 yards. Elijah Moore, 3 catches, 44 yards and a touchdown. But all that was enough to beat the Bills. Losing 45-17. Cowboys bounced back against the Falcons, beating them 43-3. There's been a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of talk about Dak Prescott playing late in this game. He was able to rush for a touchdown late in the game, but if he would get hurt, a lot of people talking about how he needs to be out of the game, late in the game when they're up by a lot like that. Yeah, he had 24 receptions, 24 completions for 296 yards, 2 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, his number one target, had 6 receptions, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott didn't have the biggest game yardage wise, but he did have 2 touchdowns. He had 41 yards rushing on 14 rushes, and 9 was his longest long yard was his longest run. Let's see here. The Dolphins beat the Lamar Jackson led Baltimore Ravens 22-10 this weekend. It was a big upset. Lamar Jackson, a Florida kid, had 26 completions on 43 attempts, 238 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception, and was sacked 4 times. That Miami Dolphins were getting after him, man. Rashard Bateman showed why he was a great selection in the first round this season. He had 6 catches for 80 yards. Mark Andrews continuing his great performance, had another touchdown this week, 63 yards. The Dolphins, former Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa had 8 completions on 13 attempts, 150 yards, no touchdowns, but he was only sacked once. He did have a rushing touchdown to seal the game. Wasn't the greatest game for them offensively, but they did hold Lamar Jackson and that high-powered offense to just 10 points. So give it up to the Miami Dolphins. The New England Patriots completely embarrassed the Cleveland Browns. Mac Jones, former Alabama quarterback, had 19 completions for 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. Was only sacked twice. Sorry. Got some help from the run game. Running back Stevenson had 100 yards on 20 carries and 2 touchdowns. Kendrick Bourne, speedster, had 4 receptions for 98 yards and a touchdown. His longest reception was for 48 yards. It was quick. Browns only scored 7 points on a Baker Mayfield touchdown to Austin Hooper. They have a lot of injuries as well. Both their running backs, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, are still out, but they found a great third back. I don't know what their contract situation is in that backfield, but the Ernest Johnson had another great game, almost over 100 yards. He had 99 yards on 19 carries, but he also had 7 receptions for 58 yards. Boy, doing it all, man. He's doing it all. All right. Got a couple more games to review. The Packers had one of the most boring game ever. The score was 17-0. Not very much going on offensively or defensively. Wasn't sure what we were watching. One of those games was just even Aaron Rodgers didn't play well. He was 23 for 37, 292 yards, no touchdowns, threw a pick. Was only sacked once though. AJ Dillon had 66 yards on 21 carries, but he had 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams, of course, Aaron Rodgers' favorite target, was targeted 11 times, had 7 catches for 78 yards for the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson, bad game. Bad game. Only completed 50% of his passes, going 20 for 40, 161 yards, threw 2 interceptions, and was sacked 3 times. Still no help from the run game. Alex Collins had 10 carries for 41 yards. Yeah, man. Just one of probably the more boring game I've watched in my life. NFL. Before I go into this next game, it's obvious when I'm about to talk about next. I have to make this statement. Please let go of this tie rule. We need a winner. No more ties. We have keep playing until somebody score and the other one stops them. We are professionals. They are professionals. They're supposed to do this. They do this for a living. So please. Anywho, the Pittsburgh Steelers tied with the Detroit Lions this weekend, 16-16. Mason Rudolph was 30 for 50, 242 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception. Wasn't sacked once. Najee Harris had over 100 yards. He had 105 yards, 26 carries, no touchdowns. As for the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff was 14 for 24, 114 yards. Did not throw any touchdown, but got 2 rushing touchdowns from his running backs. But yeah, man, they go out of rule. I don't want to see them more times. I think that's not what I want. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to see ties. The Indianapolis Colts beat Jacksonville Jaguars 23-17. Carson Wentz was 22 for 34, 180 yards. Jonathan Taylor went over 100 yards again. 116 yards and a touchdown with 21 carries. Michael Pittman, who's looking like their number one receiver of the future, had 5 receptions for 71 yards. Number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, didn't have the greatest game at 16 completions for 162 yards. Was sacked 3 times. He was 16 for 35 to be exact, which is just over 50% completion. Running back James Robinson had 12 rushes for 57 yards and a touchdown. Jamal Agnew, his backup, had 3 rushes of his own, 79 yards and a touchdown, with a 66 yards run. And that was all. Oh, sorry, one more game. The Washington football team upsetted the defending champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 29-19. Taylor Heineke was 26 for 32, 256 yards and a touchdown. As for the Bucs, Tom Brady was 23 for 34, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Come on, Tom. Gotta put better than that now. But yeah, man, those were the games of this week. What was your favorite game of this week? Honestly, it was great to see my Kansas City Chiefs bounce back. It looked like they're back to normal. We'll see how the rest of that season go along, but that was my favorite game of the week. The Chiefs beating the short-handed, troubled, I don't even know what to call the Raiders anymore, man. Bad luck, Raiders. 41-14, man. And those were the games of the week. Got like 10 minutes left. Let's get some basketball. Currently, my LA Lakers are losing 106-97 with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left in the game to the Bucks. The Warriors looking like the best team in the league, man. They beat the Brooklyn Nets 117 to 99 last night. Steph Curry had 37 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. Went 9 for 14 from the 3-point line. Overall, 12 for 19 from the field. Draymond Green contributed 11 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Jordan Poole, the new star they've developed, had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Andrew Wiggins had a solid 19. As for the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant didn't have the best game. He had 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, but was 6 of 19 from the field. James Harden had 24, had 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Bad shooting night for him again. For him as well. He was 6-13, 2 from 6 from 3. They both were 2 from 6 from 3 to be exact. Spurs lost to the Clippers, 106 to 92. Paul George had 34, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. Reggie Jackson contributed 21. Ed Bledsoe, Birmingham kid, Parker High School, out of Parker High School in Kentucky. My favorite college basketball team. 11 points, 6 rebounds. DeJounte Murray had 26 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists for the Spurs. His backcourt mate, Derek White, had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. The last game of the night, the Utah Jazz defeated the Philadelphia 76ers 120 to 85. Rudy Gobert had 15 points, 17 rebounds. Bogdanovich had 27 points and 27 minutes. Donovan Mitchell didn't have his best game of his career. He had 5. He went 5 for 12, 13 points. 13 points. Mike Conley as well. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year, had 20 points off the bench with 7 rebounds. Shake Milton had 18 points. Tyrese Maxey had 16 points. Tobias Harris had 12 points. And those were your NBA games from last night. There are some great games going on right now as we speak. Like I mentioned, Bucks, Lakers. 38 seconds left. The Bucks are winning 107 to 101. The Hawks defeated the Celtics earlier, 110 to 19. Miami Heat are currently beating the New Orleans Pelicans with a minute left in the game. Timberwolves are beating the Kings going into the fourth quarter, 78 to 72. The Oklahoma City Thunder are beating the Houston Rockets, 85 to 78. With about halfway through the fourth quarter, the Orlando Magic defeated the New York Knicks earlier today. Brooklyn Nets bounced back and defeated the Cleveland 109 to 99. Let's see what KD and the guys did. KD had 23 points. James Harden had 27. Patty Mills had 21. Okay. LaMarcus Aldridge had 24 off the bench. Okay. LA. All right. With 7 rebounds too. Let's go. James Harden had a double-double. 10 rebounds. Okay. 7 assists. Okay. Garland. Rick Rubio had 25. The Pistons defeated the Indiana Pacers 97 to 89. The New Orleans Hornets, not the right city. The Charlotte Hornets defeated the new look Washington Wizards, 97-87. Bradley Beal had 24 points. Darius Garford had 20 points, 9 rebounds. Marcus Heller had 15 points and 9 rebounds off the bench. LaMelo Ball had 11 points, but he had 14 assists. Miles Bridges had 17 points, 10 rebounds. Miles Plumlee, or Mason Plumlee, one of the two, had 11 points, 13 rebounds. Scary Terry had 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Kelly Oubre provided 14 points on the bench, and Jaden McDaniels had 11 and 6. And those were the game of the night. Still tracking this Bucks Lakers game right now. The Lakers have called timeout with 60 seconds to go. But yeah, as we wait the finish of the Lakers and Bucks games. But like I said earlier in the broadcast, post your percentage of Will Anderson winning the Heisman as the first true defensive Heisman, being the first true defensive Heisman, or is another player or another defensive player going to win an award instead? And also Bryce Young's chances of winning the Heisman. And also, go ahead and subscribe to TitletownTV YouTube page. This video will be on there shortly. Also, follow the SportsTalk with KC page, Facebook group. Also, follow me on Twitter at Titletown_KC, TitletownTV_KC, Instagram, Karan Cadell, Facebook, Karan Twin Cadell, as you can see. Yeah. Follow all the pages across social media. Okay, there you have it. The defending champs, Milwaukee Bucks, they have defeated the Los Angeles Lakers 102-109. TNT for the Lakers had 25 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, was 9 for 18 from the field, 3 from 6 from 3-point line. Anthony Davis had 18 points, 9 rebounds, was 9 for 15. Russell Westbrook was 19, had 19 points, 15 assists. Malik Monk provided 11 off the bench. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 47 points. Whew. He's looking like an all-timer, man. 9 rebounds. Bobby Portis had 17 points. Chris Middleton had 16, 5, and 6. Pat Covington had 16 points on the bench. The Milwaukee Bucks look like they might repeat. I know the Lakers are without Westbrook, well, LeBron and Westbrook hasn't been playing that great. Anthony Davis has been playing that great. We haven't played great as a team. But hey, it's a long season. So we're looking forward to still making the playoffs and showing what we got. But yeah, man, this has been SportsTalk with KC. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Titletown TV, where we shine the spotlight on the true champions of the community. Go follow SportsTalk with KC Facebook page. Go follow me on all social medias, Karan Cadell, Titletown TV _Cadell on Twitter. Peace, you guys. Love you guys. Good night.